Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Twilight Zone. More specifically about a great episode from season 1 called Mirror Image. Now, have you seen this episode? What do you think about it? I'd love to see your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It really does help out. Now, this episode, Mirror Image, has a really cool filming technique that goes back to the 1930s. Now, Mirror Image came out February 26, 1960, and it's about a woman named Millicent Barnes. Now, Millicent Barnes is waiting at a bus station, and she has a strange feeling that her doppelganger, or a person that looks exactly like her, is trying to take over her life. Now, there are moments in this episode which are pretty terrifying. Imagine being at a place, a location, and then looking at someone, they turn around, and you're looking at yourself. That is somehow you. And where does this idea come from? Well, it actually came from Rod Serling, the creator of the show himself. This happened while he was at the airport. He noticed a man at the other side of the terminal who wore the same clothes and carried the same suitcase as him. Now, Serling considered what would happen if the man turned around and was revealed to be an exact duplicate of him. However, when the man did turn around, he realized that he was younger and, according to him, a lot more attractive. And this is where the idea from this episode came to be, and I think it's a really good one. Now, there is a really incredible scene in the movie where it's very climactic, and there's a chase sequence, and it was shot through the use of a technique called rear projection. Now, rear projection has been used since the 1930s, and it was popular, and they actually still used a newer version of rear projection even today when filming some television shows and movies. This is a diagram that you can see where essentially it's very simple. You see a projector project an image upon a screen from the rear, as the name says, and then we have an actor in the front of this projection, and when you have the camera filming the actor with the rear projection in back, it looks like that actor's in another location. It's used a lot when actors are driving in a car and they're really not driving, but the background moves, or when they're running, like in the scene for this episode in Mirror Image. So how did they use this technique in the Twilight Zone episode? Well, first, they recorded a video of Paul, that is the rear of Paul, and he was running down the street. Then they projected that video onto a screen, and they filmed the doppelganger Paul running in front of the screen, which created the illusion that there were two Pauls. Now, for some, it may be obvious, but for a lot of others who don't know much about television production and so forth, know that this is pretty astounding, and this was pretty groundbreaking at the time in the 1960s when rear projection was only around for just a little bit. But there was never ever a show like The Twilight Zone in which these weird topics were undertaken. And so a lot of the people who watched this for the first time wouldn't even put too much thought into the rear projection, but it would just freak them out because it was an effect where essentially something that never had been seen on camera was done. Used in this type of case, it was super creepy, and you would even forget how they did it. So I think it's really cool, and I did want to bring it to you. It is such a great episode. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. Thanks for the support as always. Thank you so much for being patron members and for being supportive of me. That's the only way that I can keep doing my channel is with your support. We'll see you all next time, and don't forget everyone, be hopeful. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters, especially my Diamond tier patrons, John O, David D, Sally N, Jerry D, Vito L, Citizen Kane, Jennifer P, and Kevin K. If you want to appear on this list and support the channel in a very personal and effective way, links are in the description. Thank you so much.